Hi, David. I don't know if you can hear me, but you are muted.
Yeah, just realized that. You there?
No problem. Yeah, how you doing?
Okay. So my aide is here, and we're making dinner right now. I haven't had anything to eat today, so I'm probably just gonna do audio for a while, and then after I'm done eating, I could switch to video.
Yeah, no problem,
Um,
man. I don't know if anybody showed up in person. I actually hopped on just via Zoom tonight as well, because I'm not feeling super hot, just tired. And so I did text my co-host Ernest, just letting him know to join the Zoom if anybody showed up there in person. So
oh, okay. What
no
has
worries.
it been like? Just out of curiosity.
Say again.
What has the attendance been like? Just out of
Oh,
curiosity.
I think last month we had four. The month before that we had like seven. So, it really just depends on the
Okay.
month. Sometimes I think last month, or no, that was 2 months ago. It fell on a holiday too. So that yeah, actually I think I got those numbers reversed. So there was one that fell on a holiday where we had almost nobody show up. And then so
Yeah.
it happens sometimes. It's entirely possible, honestly, with it being November 1st, and just people. I think personally, I'm recuperating from a party over the weekend still, so we'll see if anybody actually ends up showing up tonight, and if not, we'll hang for like 5 or 10 and then adjourn. So what's for dinner?
Well, I got some stuff from Trader Joe's. I usually eat salads like 5 days a week, but then the other 2 days I'll have something, you know, different that's hopefully tasty. So yeah, and I don't know. We've had other errands to do. I had to send her on other errands, so I'm just getting around to eating. It's probably going to be around 6:30, but it's fine. I mean, I'll just do audio and
Right
try
on.
to participate. Um, yeah, I did get some ETH like a few days ago, and I was gonna exchange it for Hex, but I'm kind of leaning towards maybe um, going with some like gaming or metaverse tokens because I do think that's gonna be. I mean, I foresee it as being a huge application for blockchains. So, but I gotta do my research on that stuff because I don't know a whole lot about the tokens that are out there and what their white papers are. And then I'm still considering BlockFi, and I'm actually looking at Hodlnaut out of Singapore because they have 12.73% interest on up to
Wow.
25,000. Yeah, it's up
Is
to
that for
25.
sorry to interrupt, is that for a stable coin?
Yeah, stay like USDC, I think.
Okay.
And maybe some other ones, but I since they're not doing GUSD because they're not affiliated with Gemini. As far as I remember, they're not doing GUSD because BlockFi and Gemini are partnered or whatever. But
Mhm.
they're out of Singapore, so I don't know. I mean, like with any of these companies, I am kind of nervous, but the interest is real good. So I'm going to think about it some more. And I called BlockFi and Gemini. Gemini's response I wasn't satisfied with. They don't have a phone number, and they just seem to like give me a canned response that I don't even think answered the question. BlockFi, I did talk to some people there, and I mean, it's still risky, but they at least tried to respond to my specific questions. So there's that. And I probably should do the same with Hodlnaut. But it is out of Singapore, although I don't know if that is necessarily bad for people in the US. I'm just not sure. I think they had an audit done on their financials, and
Who
they
is
may
it?
have,
Total not, you said?
yeah, but
I've
that
heard
might,
of them. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that's really tempting. I mean, I definitely get the appeal, especially we're starting to save for a house. So I mean, like I'm about to have, more and more money in fiat just sitting in an account, and like, whew, 12 and a quarter, 3/4% is, that's, I mean, I saw an ad for a high yield savings account today. I'm putting high yield in air quotes. You can't see it because my camera's not on, but it was like
Yeah.
0.5%. So I mean, like, through a traditional bank. And
Well,
so
there's better now. I mean, like if I had to choose one, I'd probably select T-Mobile Money. Although you can only transfer up to $3,000 a day. T-Mobile Money will give you 4% APY on. I mean, you got to do like 10 debit card transactions a month. I just send myself 10 50-cent Amazon gift cards, but they'll give you. Yeah, I do that with more than one account. But like, they'll for the first $3,000 or $4,000, they'll give you 4%, and then anything after that, they'll give you 1%. And then Lake Michigan Credit Union will give you 3% on up to 15K. And there's some other ones, but if I had to, so maybe
where
one
can
of
you find where can you find those? Just curious. Is there a site that tracks those?
yeah, I think I use depositaccounts.com, but it's something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah, yeah. So those are, credit union. Well, T-Mobile is underwritten by bank, customers bank. And then the other ones that I use are credit union accounts, which I prefer. But, at this point, what I really would like is Celsius had, or at least they said that they were planning to offer customers insurance that they could, purchase.
Ah,
I don't know where they're at with that. I don't think it's available yet still.
yeah.
And Celsius is not allowed in Washington anymore because of our stupid government.
Yeah.
But
See, that's the thing, is like, if I could get insurance that would protect me against like an exchange hack or exit scam, I'd be all for it, because I'm very confident that like my OPSEC would be, like, I'm not going to fall for a fish. I'm not going to like send somebody my 2FA code. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to fuck anything up. But if I could buy insurance against like, I mean, I shouldn't be that egotistical. I am fairly confident that I would not mess anything up, but I'd feel a lot better if I could buy insurance against, the exchange scamming me, or not doing their own due diligence or something like that.
yeah, I just feel like it's very risky, like given the dollar amounts that they list like for their tiers and whatever, like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm slowly getting out of BlockFi. I have about $1,000 left to pay on the BlockFi loan that I took out earlier this year. So in March, I took out a $10,000 loan using Bitcoin as collateral. They had to do like I don't remember, it was like 30% loan to value or something like that. Like, it was, I had to give them way more Bitcoin than they gave me fiat, which made me a little uneasy. But I used about half of that 10 grand to buy Bitcoin, and that was in like March or April. And so yeah, I did buy kind of near all-time high, but we're back to that. So I feel pretty good about that. And then I paid off debt with the other 5 grand, and so I'm going to pay that off here probably in a week, and that'll be about 3 months early. I don't think I'll do it again. Having to give them that much cryptocurrency for the amount of fiat that they gave me, I just don't feel like it was. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm trying to. I mean, that I've thought about doing what you're talking about, but to me, what seems better for that kind of purpose is cash value life insurance, like whole life or IUL. I mean, different people have different opinions on which one to go with, but are you familiar with that?
Not really. I mean, I have a life insurance policy through my job, but that's, I didn't really look at it or anything, so it
This is
just comes with the job.
Yeah, this is probably a lot different than that. Or I mean, I don't know what you've got, but the reason people do there's this concept. It's called the infinite banking concept, and basically, you're using a life insurance policy to become your own banker. So what you do is, I mean, there's two sides to it. Number one is the life insurance side, which has the death benefit that pays out. And I personally am not concerned with that at all. But since you have to get that because it's a life insurance policy, but the other side
Right.
is the other part of it is the cash value part. So it's kind of like a savings account replacement. But what you can do is you can get a loan at any time for like close to like 90 something percent of the cash value in your account. And then it's up to you whether or not you even pay it back, because if you don't pay it back by when you die, they'll just take it out of your death benefit. So it's an interesting concept, and apparently a lot of rich people use it to avoid tax. The other thing is
Hmm.
tax sheltered because you're getting
Tax
loans.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you look up infinite banking or something like that on YouTube, there are a bunch of videos about it, and it's pretty interesting. So I'm planning to. I did a med exam on Saturday for that as well, and I don't know what it's going to be. A lot of the feasibility is based on your like your health rating or whatever. So if you get a good health rating, then your preferred rating customer or whatever, but it can go like from A to F. So it may not be worth it depending on the rating, because first and foremost it's life insurance, but you're using it for a lot of other stuff too. So that's if you're looking at loans, like that's a good way to do it. And then somebody has this thing called a cash value line of credit, which is like another additional layer on top of that stuff. And that's another thing I got to figure out. But you know, if loans, like as far as loans go, that these kinds of practices seem like the best ones that I've found. So
Right on.
yeah, it's similar to the CFI loan type deal that you're talking about, but I think that if you go with the life insurance route, it's just better. It's you're not limited in the ways that those CFI companies limit you. Because I looked into what you're talking about too, and I just was like, cash, the life insurance approach seems better.
Hmm.
So
Right on. Yeah, I'll check that out. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So Ernest just texted me back and said that it doesn't look like anybody showed up. It's you're here in Bellingham, right?
Yeah, I haven't been to. I think I've been to one or two of your meetings.
Yeah, it's not the easiest to find, honestly. I've been thinking about maybe talking to Ernest about moving it to a new space, which I don't know. I think he might be resistant to because he works out of that space, so it's very convenient for him. But like, it's not the easiest to find. It's like in the back corner behind IHOP. He's very generous to allow us to meet there in his space, but I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm on the board of directors at the Makerspace, so like I could just as easily let us meet at the Makerspace, which is at the mall, and is much easier to get to.
Makerspace.
So, um,
Oh, is that the did they move that from the warehouse district?
yeah, we used to be down on F Street again, where nobody could freaking find us,
Oh,
and so yeah, we moved to the mall about a little over a year ago.
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I've been there before too, and it seemed nice at the time.
Yeah, man.
But
If you haven't been in lately, come check it out. We've been, it's an eternal work in progress, so it's always getting
yeah,
up.
is that what you do for work, or is that just for?
Oh, no, that's my job that doesn't pay. I guess
Okay.
this is one too. So I mean, this is a very this doesn't require a lot of effort. Obviously, a little bit of stuff on Meetup and the occasional answering of emails and things like that. And
Yeah.
the actual meeting once a month. The Makerspace, I started there 4 years ago as a volunteer, joined the board 2 years ago, again as a volunteer, and then was elected board president in April. So again, also as a volunteer. It probably takes about, I mean, depending on the month, anywhere between 10 to 30 to 40 hours a month. And I don't get paid for it, but it's emotionally rewarding, right? My
Yeah.
day job, I'm a technical account manager for actually for like a cryptocurrency intelligence company. So
You're an account manager for a crypto company?
yeah, basically interface with like banks and Mostly banks are the clients that I talk with, banks and like crypto ATM clients.
Oh, crypto ATM. Yeah, I think that do you know Reese in town? I don't know if he's still here, but
Name
you know,
sounds familiar.
he had a
That's
crypto
RIES, right?
I think it's RHYS Reese.
Oh, okay, yeah, that, yeah, got it.
I think they used to have a like a Bitcoin ATM or something
Was
a
that the
long
one
time
at the
ago.
mall?
I don't know. I uh I haven't talked to him in like 4 years or something, and I don't even know if
Right
he's
on.
still here.
Yeah,
But
I know some of the Bitcoiners that were here, like when I first got to town 5 years ago. I know a lot of them have bounced down to like the Bay Area. So
oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I used to live there too. But I was just thinking like in like 2011 or 2012, I was at work in the Bay Area, and I had this laptop, like a work laptop, and I was like, oh, I was like playing around with trying to figure out how to mine Bitcoin, and I
yeah,
never did. I never did because I think at the time I looked up like what can you buy with Bitcoin, and they had some like eBay like site for like kind of like cheap tech stuff or whatever, and I was like, I don't really care. So I never ended up figuring out how to mine it, but it's too bad. I'd be man,
oh
I might
yeah.
be a multi-millionaire,
So I
maybe
mean,
not.
I first heard about Bitcoin when site, I don't know if you've heard of Slashdot. It's like a news website
Yeah.
for nerds. And so Slashdot ran an article about Bitcoin when it hit dollar. So around like March or April of 2011. And
Yeah.
I read the article. I briefly considered so at the time I was big into SETI at home, where you run the thing on your computer as like your screensaver, and it would go through the radio signals that had been collected, like looking for potential, like extraterrestrial signs of extraterrestrial intelligence
Right.
patterns and things like that. And so I
Uh-huh.
briefly considered stopping that and mining Bitcoin instead. But then I don't know, I thought about it and I didn't see a relevant need for me at the time. The only thing that you could really do with it at that point, I mean, beyond just dumb shit like Satoshi Dice or whatever, which I'm not a big gambler, right? So Satoshi Dice never really appealed to me. And then, the only other thing was you could buy drugs on Silk Road. The only drug I did
Right.
at that point was marijuana, and I bought it from a guy in person and paid him in cash. And so, like, it just simply wasn't relevant to
Yeah.
where I was in life, and I didn't look too deeply into it until a few years later, when I met the guy who got me into Bitcoin. And that's when he told me about like, oh, it's like censorship resistant. It's difficult to confiscate if you've set it up like if you've set it up properly, it's literally impossible to confiscate it. And so
Mm.
like the kind of the things that that ended up being interesting to me about Bitcoin, I didn't find out about, even though they existed when I first heard of it. I didn't learn about that part because all the comments on Slashdot, man, they were all just jokey, like joking about drug money and stuff. Very similar to comments now. Even it's funny, like 10 years later, it's still, you go and read like mainstream news comments about Bitcoin, and it's all shit about how it's a scam and a Ponzi scheme and
Oh yeah.
internet drug money and like we're still so early.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I still haven't. I actually well, what I was thinking. Maybe I mentioned this to you, but I don't really own any Bitcoin, like barely any. I've used it as an intermediary currency because I thought like, well, what's more interesting to me are these other projects that have different use cases.
Sure,
But
yeah, I know a lot of people use it for exchange pairs and stuff. So
yeah, well, at this point, I'm thinking about like buying some with the interest if I decide to get a CFI account, and then just like, maybe get that and ETH and whatever else maybe, but just using the interest, because
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I still feel like To me, like the Bitcoin is an amazing foundational technology, but it doesn't do enough to me. Uh, unless like it just really is always going to keep increasing in value, and then that would be enough. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen, because I really do. And I've heard somebody else use the analogy too of the social media companies, because MySpace was, well, first it was Friendster. I mean, and I was around for that.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. So Friendster was the initial one, which was, I mean, it's really interesting at the time. And then MySpace came along and that was huge for a while. Now it's gone. Like I think they lost all their data too. So, Facebook came over and at the time Facebook was like, I mean, I was interested in it at the time, but you had to have a college email address and I didn't have one at that time. And and then later on they opened it up and now it's like the biggest company in the world. So it's just hard to tell what's going on. And then Bitcoin's so volatile. Although it has like definitely been the, you know, most parabolic performing asset in history, I guess, but still it's in between that, it's volatile. So anyway.
I mean, it just depends on how long your time horizon is. Also, hey Ernest, I saw you drop in here.
Hey, what's going on, Dan? And hello, David. Is David new or has David been here before?
Yeah, David's been here before. I think it's been a couple of months, right? You weren't here last month.
No, it was like years.
Oh, was it years?
Yeah. I can't remember when it was. It might have been in 2017 or 18 or
oh man, yeah,
something like that. But yeah, because I haven't been investing in crypto assets for years, and I now though I think it's probably a good time to get into like whatever's on the horizon that hopefully will blow up, like the metaverse stuff, especially like I was telling you, Dan. Are you guys researching that stuff like gaming and metaverse tokens?
I kind of saw some of I mean, are you talking about Facebook metaverse specifically or just the general?
No, just in general. I mean, Facebook is like such a huge company that they may pull it off or they'll probably be ahead because of their resources. But I just mean like the idea of, because I just think like I personally, I don't know if I'll care about owning digital items, but a lot of other people do. I mean, they're already doing it for like games and stuff. And even back in like 2008 or whenever it was, like I met this girl in the Bay Area who was like making stuff for Second Life and she was selling it.
Oh
and,
yeah, yep.
That's crazy. So
yeah, I mean, so I mean, I'm old enough that I remember reading Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson, who who's one of the guys who's credited with, I think, coining the term metaverse, if not the concept, right? Like that. And yeah, so I mean, it's cool to see that coming to fruition. I have not messed around with VR stuff for a while. But even the stuff that I was messing around with a couple of years ago, which is like mostly the Samsung phones with the add-on VR stuff, and then also the HTC Vive. And I've also messed around with an older Oculus. Again, it's been a few years, but I mean that stuff was awesome back then, even, and I could see the potential for it. It's my understanding that like Oculus now has a wireless headset out, and apparently augmented reality is about to get be like the next hot thing too, right? There's all these rumors that Apple's gonna release Apple augmented reality glasses and all that stuff. I definitely think that that's going to be like, once you can buy an NFT and have it displayed in your house, as long as you're, got your like goggles on or whatever, I think that'll definitely, be a big game changer for the popularity of that. Because right now, I mean, while there's definitely some interest in it, I mean, let's be honest, you're basically buying a JPEG that you look at on your computer. Now, I have zero interest in that. However, if I could buy like a fucking, I don't know, an 8 foot tall dildo that I could then put in my front yard, that, because I don't know, I'm a weird guy, right? So let's just say I just want something weird that if you walk by my house with AR goggles on, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what the hell? You know,
Yeah,
like
or VR, like, because I guess what Facebook is thinking is that a lot of people are gonna do like the Ready Player One deal where
oh
they're
yeah, yeah,
creating worlds and stuff. But the thing is, like for example, like Tom Bilyeu, who runs Impact Theory, has like NFT sneakers, and he actually consider he didn't initially he wasn't interested in NFTs, but he changed his mind and he thinks it's going to be huge, and like he really values them as his most cherished possessions or something. So when people, so like when there's special items that people can own in a metaverse, like I just think that's going to be insane. Like
right,
the
right,
economy's just be insane, like with the money that people are going to put into it. And I don't know if I want to buy that stuff because I don't really know if I'll care, but I want to take advantage of that economy, so
uh,
that's what I'm thinking.
it's definitely gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, because the Nreal, this company called Nreal has they're probably at the forefront of making AR glasses, and next year they're supposed to come out with like spectacles type AR stuff that it's still early days, but those seem like they'll be more portable than the current ones, which apparently are supposed to be pretty good visually. And I have a Quest 2, which is nice for exercising and stuff, but it's not resolution and whatever isn't like as good as it should be in my
Yeah,
mind. But it's getting there. And like, so Apple next year is supposed to have their high end like retina display headset or whatever. And a bunch of these companies are I think like within the next 2 maybe 3 years it's gonna basically be ready, I think. So you
yeah,
know it's going to be a game changer, I think, because like, social media changed everything. Like Facebook they don't do shit that much, they don't do a lot of stuff. They make all their money on ads, but they're
yeah.
like $1 trillion company. So the metaverse stuff is just going to be on a whole nother level, I think.
Oh, it should be very interesting. I mean, I definitely, I don't know if you saw, I can't remember the guy's name. There was one of the Facebook guys who did a video showing the avatar. Like they've got these like live digital avatars that do, face and facial expressions and like hand motions and stuff as they're talking. And I mean, you can kind of tell that it was like, I mean, it looked like CGI basically, but like it was really lifelike. It was a lot more lifelike than some of the cartoony stuff that I've seen screenshots of theirs. So like they're definitely working on, I'm guessing the more realistic stuff like that's probably a couple of years down the line. But like they're definitely working on trying to make it so that, you could put on a headset and have a remote meeting that feels like you're actually sitting at a table with a bunch of people rather
Right.
than
Well,
rather than just like the fucking Brady Bunch on Zoom.
yeah. So that, I mean, again, like what we're going through right now with the pandemic and what they call the great resignation or whatever, like that's another use case for this stuff where, you can just like be chilling in your underwear at home or whatever. And like it'll be like legitimately attending an office meeting or something.
Right.
So, uh, yeah, so it's a really interesting time for sure. Like, and aside from that, like within 2 or 3 years we might have like air taxis, which is another crazy.
Yeah, hey, sign me up. I mean, if they can carry my weight, sign me up. I would love to fly around in a little drone. I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty amazing. Like Joby did their 150-mile flight or whatever, and it's
Oh,
apparently
nice.
that thing is like super quiet. It's like it sounds like a breeze or something because of the rotors. Like it's
Huh.
pretty
They're
amazing.
like really big, I guess, then.
Well, it has to do with the shape.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like if you're interested, you can watch this video where they compared it to like helicopters and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, Joby's a good one. There are a bunch of those companies though that are. I think in Rome, like Volocopter or whatever, I think it's German. They had one on display, and they're like building these heliports or whatever for these air taxis right now, like in Rome and Germany, I guess, or wherever. Israel's another country, that Japan as well. Okay, thanks, Shanna. So yeah, there's a bunch of companies that are working on building the infrastructure for that, and that'll be
Nice.
pretty cool. I think it'll be easier than automating it too. Like they might have pilots for a while, I'm not sure, but like automating those, I think is going to be easier than automating a car, because there's not as much stuff to bump into, and whatever. So anyway, but yeah, it's super cool. Like, and then of course, hopefully Universal. Well, I guess did you guys support Andrew Yang and the UBI idea?
I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. I think that I loved. So I did not vote for Yang. I'm not a big voter guy for primaries, to be honest with you. But I think had I voted in the primary, I think I would have been at least considered voting for him. I like that he's, I'm not a big fan of like the outside of the political insiders. I think that we could use more people that aren't career politicians, and especially lawyers in Washington. I hope that he continues to try to, run for political offices. I think he's got some really interesting ideas.
Yeah, well, he's trying to create a third party that's focused on open primary.
Saw that. Forward, right? I think is what he's calling it. Forward Party.
Right. Yeah, because he had this shtick or whatever, like this saying, it's not left, it's not right, it's forward.
Forward, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it's, more power to him, man. I actually, it's funny you mentioned it. I saw that earlier today on Twitter. It's somebody that I follow on Twitter had retweeted something where Yang was talking about the Forward Party. That's literally the only reason I knew about that.
Yeah.
So next time somebody says Twitter's not good for anything, let them know that they're mostly right.
It's good for Elon Musk pumping these dog coins.
His shit coins, yeah, no doubt. Do you see that he answered somebody asked him how much Shiba Inu he held, and he was like none, and it dropped 30% in a day. But then I think after that, I think it rebounded. I don't know if it still is. I haven't looked at charts lately, but at one point it actually passed Doge's market cap.
Yeah, I think that's pretty recent. I know somebody who holds it. It's interesting to, he's got like stop loss orders in effect. So
yeah, I just double checked on CoinGecko, and it looks like SHIB is still above Dogecoin. What if, honestly, I mean, my personal opinion, I know some people that have made some money off of both of those coins, and whatever, more power to them. My personal opinion, though, is that kind of stuff just cheapens the public perception of what crypto is. It makes it into a joke when it's really not a joke. I mean, there are definitely like some jokey aspects to Bitcoin. Like I've jokingly referred to it as magic internet money, but like, I mean, Doge was literally started as a joke. Like,
right.
The creator.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I was gonna say, like, the creator said that it was a joke.
Right. Well, I thought that the Shiba coin was supposed to have like some additional functions, that Dogecoin doesn't have, but I forget. I probably didn't.
I did see somebody on Twitter that said that SHIB has staking or something like that, which may or may not be true.
It has capabilities of smart contracts.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
And I agree with you on majority of what you were discussing there. Crap coins do devalue the authenticity of genuine cryptocurrencies, and I think again it's just read more, learn more, and unless these coins have some type of utility or some type of provisional service that it's going to provide the overall community, it's just hype. It's
like
just
an
hype.
actual value proposition.
You did this thing.
The oven's hot.
So,
Okay.
There.
but all right, man. Well, my wife actually just got home, and I'm starving, so I'm actually gonna hop and go get some food.
Okay. So is the meeting canceled then?
No, I was going to turn it over to Ernest if you wanted to hang and chat with him, David.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time focusing because I haven't eaten since breakfast. So
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't eaten at all today. Is there anybody there?
Yeah, I'm here at the moment, but if it's 6:39. Just depends, David, if you want to hang out for a few more minutes, or if not, if no one else is going to show up by now, doesn't matter to me. Okay.
Okay. I think I'm gonna eat, but maybe I'll check in a few minutes to see.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it open, so if somebody
Yeah.
pops on,
yeah, I was gonna say I'll just leave the
Dan.
room going. So
Yeah,
it works
okay.
for me.
Okay,
Hey,
brother.
appreciate you guys. It was good chatting with you, David. Sorry I'm leaving early. I just had a rough week, man. It was my birthday on Friday, and then I went to a couple of Halloween parties over the weekend. I'm feeling pretty ragged today.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, happy birthday.
happy birthday, brother. Mine is in 13 days.
I gotta tell you
Understand.
guys, man, I'm not as young as I used to be. I definitely I think next year I'm keeping it down to one Halloween party. So
All right, my brother. Enjoy the rest of your evening, man.
all right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
Talk to you later. All right. Ernest, I will check. I'm gonna eat and then I'll
Go ahead,
check
brother. Do what you need to do. I'm always usually double zooming here, so the room is open if anyone else shows up. If not, pop back in. We'll say next time. And thanks for showing up.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ernest. I'll
All
check.
right, man.
Ernest, you there?